Sometimes you don't need a bigger bag, you just need a smaller one. And after downsizing my work EDC recently, ADD1D may have just sent me the next evolution of my rotational sling setup. What's going on, guys? Mikey Messina here with Mikey Daily Carry. Welcome back to the channel. So ADD1D sent over this Kangaroo Sling Elite over for me to check out. But as always, you get my honest impressions and thoughts after loading this thing out for my everyday work carry. Now, recently I scaled down my work EDC and revisited the original ADD1D Kangaroo Sling. I'll have that video in the description down below. And ADD1D ended up sending over the brand new Kangaroo Sling Elite. And honestly, this feels like the evolution of everything I liked about their original bag. This isn't a long-term review yet. Think of this as more of like a first impressions, high-level overview as I set this thing up to be my work sling for the next couple weeks. If you saw my previous Kangaroo Sling video, then you already know I've been trying to simplify and scale down my work carry into something more practical for actual day-to-day use, instead of carrying a full-on backpack. This Elite version feels like ADD1D took that original concept and pushed it even further with more modularity, more organization, and more versatility. At first glance, this Elite version definitely feels more premium and more refined compared to the original. The overall footprint is still compact enough for everyday carry, but the Elite feels more capable. Now let's do a high-level overview of the Elite version's features. First off, as you can see the material here, this is an X-Pack VX21 weather-resistant material. It does have a roll top expandable feature, which is also the main compartment to the bag. There is a magnetic buckle closure to this as well, so it just snaps down like so, which is really cool, really easy access. It has a rear pocket here. It also has some breathable material back here as well when this is kind of just rubbing against your body. Just like the ADD1D first version, it has an expandable kangaroo section right here. It has a front pocket here with that retractable key set, and it now has organization in that front pocket. Doesn't have any organization right here on the back, but you see that high-vis orange. You're going to be seeing that all around the bag, which I really like. The bungee on this is also a high-vis orange, which really stands out. It looks like the expandable feature here, where you can extend that even more if you want to. What they did now at the bottom of this is they added Velcro to this bottom section right here. So rather than adding that separate Velcro piece to the bag, you already have that on the bottom, and that kind of just sticks like so. So if I don't want to use this kangaroo pouch here, that can just stick onto the bag. And in here, I also have this, looks like a little key tether that you can maybe put your keys to. And then this right here is all loop line, so you can stick this onto there, and that way you have real quick, easy access if you want to have your keys there, which is pretty cool. And then you have this middle compartment here, which I actually added this organizer. So this came separate, but this right here is the ADD1D organizer, where you have a zippered pocket right here. You can fit like AirPods in there. You have two of them. And then you also have that middle compartment right here with 1, 2, 3, 4 bungee elastic sections. And I have that in here, where you also have this loop lined on the back side, where I actually have this organization. Bam. And then it's a deep pocket right here in the center. You got about 3 inches on the inside here, much larger footprint than the original ADD1D. You also have a different type of strap that you can use for this bag if you wanted to. I have one on here that is much more padded. This is actually a separate feature as well. It's a padded shoulder accessory, where it has molly webbing right here, and this is the buckle release system. Okay, it's just a real nice Duraflex. The zippers are YKK, and this whole strap actually does come off because it has these little clips here that can just come off, and then that way you can use this grab handle if you want. The grab handle too is much more reinforced, so that way you can just put this in and out of the car if you want to. Let me just hold this here so that way you can pause the video and see everything that this thing comes with. Now, the biggest thing for me with any sling bag isn't just how many pockets it has, it's whether it actually makes sense for everyday use. And that's why I wanted to set this up specifically as my rotational work sling for the upcoming weeks. So let's jump into it. Now, first off, we're going to start with this front pocket here. And for this front pocket section, I'm going to have that as my hygiene section. So let's grab everything I'm going to be putting into here. We got some Advil. Put that in here. There's a little mesh pocket where I can hide that in. Some pure gum. But inside of this pure gum, I also have my wisps, which is like small disposable toothbrushes, along with some toothpicks. And I have that all in this bag. Put that in there. I also have some Cetaphil lotion. Can't be ashy, so I'm going to put that in here. And then I have some hand sanitizer, some Purell. And I still have an entire front pocket that I don't need to load out unnecessarily, so I'm going to close that up. Now, moving on to this middle section here, have these little retention straps, which I showed you guys how I used in the last Kangaroo Sling, which is going to come in handy in just a second here. But let's load out this section right here. This is going to be my dedicated tech area. We got charging banks. We got the NB10000 by Nightcore. This is the Gen 4 edition with the same LED RGB lights along with the indicator there. I got 3 out of 4 bars. And then I got this anchor. And this right here is one that has a built-in USB-C cable along with this Apple Watch charger. So that's going to go first. And I'm going to use these mesh pockets right in the front. So I got one right there, and I got one right there. Now, this attachment that they sent me, which is a pouch organizer, has these 2 little pockets here. So I'm going to put this right here. This is the Anchor 3-port USB-C, 2 USB-C, 1 USB-A wall mount. I'm going to put that there. And then this right here is my Rode Wireless Micro USB-C. And I'm going to put that in there. I have an open section here. So I'm going to put my DJI Mic 2. I'm just going to clip that in this middle area right here. No biggie. And that is going to go right here in this middle section. And now I do have a pretty open cavity in the center of this all. So in that center pocket area, I'm going to put pouches. So this right here is my little Ouchie Boo Boo pouch. Just made a video about this. This is the Side Fry by Data Crew. This is one that I have kitted out as a Ouchie Boo Boo. This one right here is my Leatherman extension toolkit. So everything that has to deal with the flat bit section on the Leatherman tools. I even have a Leatherman Skeletal in here, but on my hip I always have a Leatherman Arc. I'm gonna put that in the center as well, and then have a couple other things. I have this portable fan because your boy runs hot. This thing has 5 levels, which is pretty cool. It's like my most favorite buy in 2026. This thing is $7. This thing comes in handy so much. Oh my gosh, just on my forehead, it feels so good. And that goes right in there. And then I have my DJI Osmo Pocket 3. So that is my dedicated camera that I have on the go with me. I have this Civivi Partake. So right here is my dedicated utensil set that travels with me. So that way I'm never empty-handed when it comes to utensils. Stainless steel, real easy to wash. And that's what I'm going to have in the middle section. So now I'm going to close that up. On the middle compartment here, unzip this. Now notice how it can be packed up this high. I'm never going to carry it where I pack it up this high, but you get access to the inner channel of this bag. I'm not going to load that out any more than I should, but just wanted to give you an idea. So if I have like a thin sweater or anything like that, I can put that in here, zip that up, and then I can rock the sling like so. But I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is went ahead and fold that over. I'm going to fold this over, and then I'm just going to have this close back up. Now in this middle section here, this is where I'm again going to put my iPad. 11-inch iPad Pro with the Magic Keyboard. Fits in the middle section like that. But I use these included straps to reinforce the top part of the iPad, so that way it's not sliding around or anything like that. Now it's all loaded out. There's also that hidden compartment right here on the back, but I'm not going to use that. There you have it. That is how I load this thing out. Pretty beefy, okay, once you get everything in there. All right, I'm going to give you guys shots on how this looks like on my person. I could really adjust this a little bit more so that way it doesn't look so wonky. There we go. That looks a lot more presentable. And then on the bottom side, like I had stated, it has this little bungee area where you can still stash stuff. So I just want to give you an idea. This is my thing with the Kangaroo, the original Kangaroo Sling, is that I had no place for my bottle, but now I do. I can slide this thing on the bottom half, and now I have a dedicated place for my Rambler. And I just cinch that down, and voila. So now I have everything loaded up in the bag like so. Pretty cool. That's how it looks like on your boy. Okay? On the back side. Alright, I'll give you guys better shots too of how this looks like. But this is the Elite. Obviously, I think the name kind of stands for itself. It's pretty elite because it can stash all this stuff in this bag. Now, one thing I immediately notice with the Elite version is how modular it feels. It almost sits somewhere between a traditional sling bag and a lightweight micro messenger. The roll top gives it that flexibility depending on your loadout for the day, and the expandable Kangaroo section is still one of the most unique features that ADD1D has for this bag. For someone like me, who rotates their gear constantly depending on work, filming, meetings, trips, that flexibility actually matters. Now let's talk about some pros. It feels significantly more premium than the original. The roll top adds that expandability. The functionality is great. The organization is much better. It still stays relatively streamlined, and that high-vis orange interior is awesome. It can adapt to work, EDC, content creation, what have you. Now, obviously, this isn't a full review yet because I still need more time to carry this bag. You obviously just saw me load it out for the first time, just cut out the tag. I'll be paying attention to all the different things I wish would be a little bit better over the next coming weeks. How comfortable it is, how it feels fully loaded, whether the roll top becomes annoying or convenient, or if I even use it, and if the added modularity actually improves the workflow or just adds complexity to my day. And also whether or not it still maintains that compact practical carry that made me want to scale down from a backpack. So far though, this feels like a really solid evolution of the Kangaroo Sling platform. And honestly, for where I'm currently at with my EDC journey, scaling down, simplifying, and carrying gear with more intention, this might actually fit the bill. So for the next 2 weeks, this is going to be my official work bag for EDC, and I'll keep testing it, refining it, and changing out the loadouts wherever I have to. But if you guys do want a full long-term review after I've carried more, definitely let me know down in the comments below. And if you want to check out the Kangaroo Sling Elite for yourself, I'll leave links down below along with a little discount code. I appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out. Waka